Bulldogs will travel to Tennessee on Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. To ask a question for Coach Smart, please press star 1 on your telephone's keypad now. And Coach, we'll wait on those questions. If you could take a moment to comment on your team as you enter the Tennessee game.
Yeah, we're coming off a bye week in which we got a lot of work done and trying to improve in a lot of areas, and excited to go up to Knoxville to play in a night environment that for us we're excited about. I think anytime you go up there to play in Neyland Stadium, there's so much tradition and crowd noise and anticipation that our guys are certainly excited for the opportunity to go play. And anytime you're playing in the SEC, you know that the quality of play that's required on the road in this conference is hard to match. So we're preparing for that right now.
First up, we have Jimmy Hines of Sports Radio Knoxville.
Kirby, going into the season, don't think you had a lot of experience at the wide receiver group. How do you think that unit has played?
You know, it's been a kind of by committee, and we've had some injuries there. We've had some guys miss games and injured and banged up, and it's kind of come to and fro. But I think they're starting to establish themselves. They've gotten more confidence, and you only get confidence when you don't have experience through experience. And we've been able to play 4 games where a lot of these young guys have gotten more and more experience. So it's good to have a little bit of a running game to help them. It's good to have an experienced quarterback that they can rely on. So that part I'm pleased with.
And Kirby, when you've got an outstanding offensive line and a quarterback like Fromm, how much easier does that help in terms of play calling?
Well, I think the experience helps. I think the toughest thing about play calling is knowing that you're in the SEC where you're facing athletic big fronts week in and week out. You start talking about the quality of the defensive lines. It's just really hard, and a lot of times you got to help those guys. You got to help them by staying balanced. You got to not let them tee off on pass rush, and you got to do a good job keeping things balanced. And I think Coach Kelly's done that.
Thank you.
Next is Murray Poole of Bulldog Illustrated.
How would you evaluate your blocking on the edge against Notre Dame for the outside runs? And along that line also, I think in college football today, excuse me, we don't see as much of the toss sweep as we used to. Is that maybe the way the defenses line up, the personnel and everything this year? If you just comment on that.
Yeah, as far as the Notre Dame edge stuff, we won some, we lost some. And when we won, we usually had good results. And when we didn't win on the perimeter, we had some negative plays. So what you'd like to do is have explosive plays and then some efficient runs, maybe not explosive, but just efficient. And what we can't do is have the negative ones. And that's what we got to avoid from the Notre Dame game. But as far as the toss, I just think there's not a lot of people using the lead blocker. You know, a lot of people still run the same blocking scheme as the toss sweep. They're just doing it a different way. And what to the eyes of the fan might not be a toss sweep is the exact same blocking as a toss sweep. It just is run a different way, or it's thrown a different way.
Okay, thank you.
Next we have Wilson Alexander of the Advocate.
Hey, Kirby, good morning. Kind of an
Good morning.
off-the-wall question for you. What is the most bizarre thing you've ever seen a strength coach do to energize a team? It seems like that's kind of their role come game day.
I don't know that anything's bizarre they do anymore because they're bizarre as a whole. I mean, they operate under a different mindset than your typical coaches, and I think that's what you're referring to. Is that I've been around some really good ones with Tommy Moffitt and Scott Cochran and Scott Sinclair here. They're all recognized nationally as some of the top guys in their profession, and each one of them different in their own right. But I can't think. I mean, really bizarre is the norm when it comes to those guys.
You mentioned Tommy. He's been such a fixture of that LSU program now for almost 20 years, and you spent a year with him. What makes him such an effective strength coach?
Well, I think his experience, his ability to motivate players. I think the relationship that those guys have, and our guy here, Scott, is the same way. It's just incredible the ability to motivate players, because you spend an enormous amount of time pushing them and developing a personal relationship with them. And I think those players don't see it as he's concerned about me on the field. They see it as he's concerned about me all the way around, and it's not performance based. And that helps their relationship with them, because they're mostly trying to motivate them and get them better.
Thank you, Kirby.
Next is Steve Moulton of WDDN.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Doing good, Steve.
Where do you think your team got better during the bye week?
Well, I don't know that we know that. I think we're going to wait and see, and see in the game and see where we improved. Certainly worked hard on a lot of areas, but I think the proof is in the kind of performance, and we got to see. We got to see where we got better. We got to go out and do it on a big stage and in front of a opposing team's crowd, and be able to perform when we have to at our best. And I don't want to reserve judgment until we actually go out there and do it.
And with replacing coordinators like you've done this past off season, what was and staying in-house, how much did you look at candidates maybe outside the building, and what made ultimately your hires the ones to go to in-house?
Each of those decisions are independent of the other. You look and see where your program's headed, and you look and see what you have coming back, what your performance was, and whether somebody outside can improve that performance, or whether someone internally can continue to grow your team. And in both situations, I felt like that we were headed in the right direction, and that we had guys very capable, and that's just the way I felt.
Thank you, Coach.
We have a follow-up from Jimmy Himes.
Kirby, Tennessee's off to a 1-3 start. Do you think that's a team that's really better than its record shows?
Yeah, I think that's always the case, but I think we're always judged, and I think Jeremy would be the first to tell you by our record. But that doesn't necessarily indicate what kind of team we have. I think that's always the case. So many things control outcomes of games that are outside your control sometimes. And in their case, there's several situations where it could be the other way very easily.
And also, there are several coaches on the staffs that have coached at Tennessee and Georgia, and I just wonder if you think there's an advantage either way, or do you think that stuff's overrated?
No, I mean, you'd like to think there is an advantage, but it's not either way. It's just knowledge. I mean, you have information that you've worked with people, and you know things they like, and they know things you like. They know tendencies, and you know tendencies. But it negates the advantage when both parties have the same information. So it's not like one party has more information than the other.
Thank you.
Next, we have Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey Kirby, how you doing? My question was kind of similar to Jimmy's, I guess. Just going up against Jim Chaney, how do you feel about that, and maybe what insights he might have into your team since he was with you?
I mean, I know it's a challenge when you go against Jim. He does a good job offensively. He prepares his team well. He believes in physicality. He believes in being able to run the ball, and he's got balance. It's not like he's one-dimensional. He does a really good job in preparation. He knows your tendencies, and he tries to attack those. But again, it's not going to be what I know and he knows about me. It's going to be about, the guys carrying the ball and catching the ball, and guys defending the pass and stopping the run. It's going to be a lot more about those guys.
Thanks.
We'll finish up with a follow-up from Murray.
I just got a comment on Nick Chubb. It's pretty amazing, his story, I think. He had 165 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, that 88-yard run, I think they clocked him 21 miles an hour. But to come back from the surgery he has and play his senior year at Georgia and do what he accomplished, and then these first 2 years with the Browns have been pretty amazing story, I think.
Yeah, he's an amazing athlete. I mean, when you look at what he's done throughout his career, from high school track to being here at Georgia and being a kind of a legend and a special character to see what he's gone through. And but, you know, Ron Corson and his staff spent so much time with this kid, and he embraced it. He took it on and probably did more than anybody's ever done in terms of ACL rehab, and to see him having success is just is a bright spot for him and our university because of how much he meant to us when he was here.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Coach, thank you for your time.